reportage on a powerfully distinct notion as um, enunciated by Kristen Stewart in her capacity as um, an expert on the business of videography and cinema in general, because justified by the fact that because this is an individual, beside from whatever her personal qualities, maybe was involved in the business of filmmaking, which is so globally important for the so-called popular culture, and perhaps in some small way to something emancipating itself from the popular culture or entertainment from a very young age, and then also up into the current period has become as it were, gone from being an actor or actress to being a director as and a writer as well. So we can say that this is some expert knowledge on the subject matter has said that there must be a leader. So this is a remark given in connection with the practice of filmmaking, that there must be this a Führer or guide in filmmaking. This is the same conclusion reached by fascist theory with respect to countries, with respect to the theory of von Goethe and others in the German historical school, and also the youngest, the so-called quote-unquote youngest Hegelians, which have been part of the German historical school of jurisprudence, have taken this view. And also to some extent, I think Oliver Wendell Holmes in America has said that it should simply be admitted that politics plays a role in the judicial situation, in the lawmaker situation, instead of this Scalia version, which is radically suspect, because Scalia has affected the destruction of the precedent law, the law of the judge-made law with respect to statutory law. This is his great product for infinity, as it were. But this reminds of the clearing out of Sharia law from the Turkish world in the modernization period, and also of the clearing out of the Catholics. In the sense that the Ottoman Empire followed to some extent the pattern of the French Revolution, and thought, well, the central authority gets more power if we remove the jurists, which in those cases were, I forget the right pronunciation, but mufti or mufti, authorities in the system of Islam that are able to give opinions on legal issues under Sharia law. So this we also see Napoleon freeing himself from the canon law in a similar way at an earlier period. And so taken in this register, we're dealing with the intensification of the power of centralization of the state, because it frees itself from all kinds of experts and so forth. But we have this sense that there must be someone who can tell us, say something that's far-sighted, and that's what we seek for immediate guidance in an executive position under this sort of dispensation. So, in fact, this view we could take as a paradigm or an example. So again, it says a paradigm is really what it means is an example. We have in the Statesman, for instance, of Politikon, of Platon, this notion that the example needs an example. So we could have the example first of Kristen Stewart says there must be a leader, but this really means with respect to filmmaking, with respect to a director who has a vision with respect to auteur, etc., 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 all that bullshit. But and then, like most of them are very bad. I mean, Hitchcock, I have to admit, is pretty good, but not that good because he's not really didactic. He's not teaching us anything. He's not really educating us. It's really just bullshit. So, but if films could have that level of suspense and that technical skill, but also some kind of um, build on content, some kind of genuine education of the human being, then it could be serious. But most films are not, are at best, they hold our attention. So Schopenhauer's written something on this kind of subject, but not on films, obviously, because films weren't around in Schopenhauer's time, but on the notion of merely the techniques of holding the attention of human beings as opposed to doing something like Goethe still did in his Faust, where there was a deep didactic purpose to the text. Um, where something serious was still thought possible to say rather than the mere entertainment, which, so I mean, even Cass Sunstein says the anti-liberal par excellence is Carl Schmitt and so forth. That he wrote an article just in the New York Times just like a couple of weeks ago in November 20th, I think, where he said that. So this has become very commonplace. The most common core of the political understanding has come to see Carl Schmitt as anti-liberal. That's one of the authorities of Alexander Dugin, and one of his complaints is that we're in a sea, underwater, blub blub, we're drowned, can't get a breath because we're entertainment is everywhere. Dugin has proposed this blunt solution: only Tsargrad television for Russians, nothing else, only Tsargrad. Whether such a sort of intervention can be made in the West, where we're so addicted to the modern version of bread and circuses, according to Dugin, the Latini or the Roman would be far superior to what we have in Europe today and what we have in America today. But the modern version of bread and circuses is the so-called popular culture or entertainment. But why can't this skill set, this artisanal, this art of filmmaking, Spielberg, the guy that made Alien and that recent what's it called, Napoleon film and so forth. Why can't filmmakers who are maybe Wolfgang Peterson, whoever, filmmakers who are reasonably good, I exclude, because I have total contempt for him, I exclude Quentin Tarantino, even though he's very energetic. He has a spectacular energy, but he's so superficial and so poisonous and so much just the dust of sugar, of powdered sugar, that I exclude him. Just as I exclude Bob Dylan generally, as I think it's a shame that the Nobel Prize depreciated itself by picking him. It was interesting when Yelnik, originally there was a controversy with this Austrian woman, Yelnik, because she wrote about a lot of the piano teacher and some sexual subjects, and Zizek being, self-consciously puritanical because he thinks it's cool to be puritanical, saying, "Oh, I would touch her with a 10-foot pole," not Yelnik. And that was at least serious because she was at some depth to it. But when they chose a popular singer, even though, yes, Bob Dylan is emblematic of an age in a certain sense, nonetheless, I think it was depreciating the character of the prize. I'm slightly ambivalent about that judgment, because I recognize also that an author that I highly respect has been shunned by the Academy in large, Hermann Hesse, because he's basically of a smaller stature than the greats. But and then this problem is even much deeper with Bob Dylan, I think, with his way smaller stature. But nonetheless, it's that's a slightly vexed issue. But the issue is, can something which both holds the attention of everyone, like the old ancient rhapsode tradition in Iliad, Odyssey, like the Perry Lord tradition, as the found some kind of analog to the ancient rhapsode tradition prior to Pisistratus and others having the Iliad written down in a definitive form. Um, in Albania, there was also some kind of rhapsode or troubadour tradition, something like that that has more dignity, as Strauss would put it, more dignity, and less merely for quickening the pulse or for um, some kind of or selling wolf tickets or whatever. Um, isn't this possible in the sphere of films? And if it's possible in the sphere of films, then we could take that paradigm or example, and could we bring it over to there must be a leader. Could we bring this over in maybe in an Aristotelian way? The more power, the more good can be done to the general situation, to human life as a whole.